Good morning and welcome to the Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We have seen in the history of the world and of the organization that whenever a new opportunity occurs, any tyrant would like to take benefit of that, and that power-hungry tyrant would impose his will upon everyone else. I'm always for the improvement of the world and utilization of the new technologies. However, when these technologies are misused, there is an impending danger to the modern civilization. And that's exactly what's happening. Artificial intelligence, as I wrote in my book, is the intelligence that matters. But with the latest, almost lunatic developments and misuse, we find that these technologies are going to be basically an instrument of oppression. And I foresee, and many people won't agree with me, and here I resemble the Greek classic person, Cassandra, whose all prophecies were correct, but they were never believed. Now, this power-hungry tyrants would misuse this technological development, and the result would be enslavement. That enslavement is not far off. You would see that. What to do in that case? How to prepare for that? But let's come and foresee what's coming. Now, we have seen a very good organization. I have been a part of it myself for a long time. I've been interviewed over there. I've spoken over there. And for the last 50 years, half a century, this organization has been organizing conferences, publishing policy proposals, connecting global leaders in industry, banking, information technology, intelligence gathering, military strategy, and politics. Its mission objective is remarkably simple. The smartest, best people in the world should rule everyone else. Well, what's wrong with that? If the smartest and the best people in the world rule, it will be good governance. So that is nothing bad. And this is nothing new. The foundations have been around at least since the times of Plato, when 2.5 millennia ago the Greek philosopher proposed that the ideal city-state should be ruled by the philosopher kings. And just as Plato surveyed the world and predictably concluded that the people from his own vocation should logically govern everyone as philosopher king, and he was a philosopher. The World Economic Forum's global elite have come up with a striking similar determination. This is clear that when Plato advocated philosopher kings, he had himself in the mind. And World Economic Forum consists of the global elites. They have come to a similar determination. And it's to no surprise that the same philosopher kings have nominated themselves to do what they want to be done, rule themselves. How convenient. An excellent idea that the smart people should rule the world. You show that you are smart, and hence you should rule the world. And in case the founder of WEF, World Economic Forum, Charles Schwab, and the clan can pull it off, they'll do so by using the technology. And how would they use the technology? They will use the technology to enfeeble, to weaken, rather than empower the human race. And that's a tragedy. Empowerment by technology is always welcome. Empowerment, increasing poverty of initiative and creativity, is not. Already, people have become familiar with the new terms of their future enslavement. And do you know what are those future terms? Have you tried to understand them? Central bank digital currencies. Now, these will allow government not only to track every citizen income and purchase history in the real time, but it would also limit what a person may spend depending upon the government determined social credit scores. So say you want to go to the market and buy a suit, custom made suit. No, you shouldn't buy it. Buy it off the rack. You want to go and eat a pastry or a hamburger? No, you shouldn't eat that. Eat just plant that food. So your purchase would be limited by this digital currency. Amazed. But that's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen but the probability is there. These government-determined social skills are perceived infractions. Now I'm quoting of the common good. So common good is an excuse to enslave you. And this is exactly what communism does. From each according to his capacity, to each according to his need. And who determines the need? The boss, the dictator. The same communist philosophy is camouflaged as common good. And then it would also be interpreted in different ways. Unfair possession of systemic privilege. So the terms would be used to mislead you. And if this sounds dystopian, I know you are going to say, well, that's not going to happen. It looks to be utopia, but it's really dystopia. And it's every bit like an unwanted prison overseen by unaccountable government agencies. This is it. 1984, George Orwell's novel. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley's novel. Island, Aldous Huxley's novel. These are coming into actuality. And World Economic Forum is leading this. In the language used by World Economic Forum, such schemes of total supervision, absolutely, and behavioral commodification will create, what will they create? A sustainable future for humanity. Yes, of course. But at their dictates. So no doubt, this reminds me of the typical prisons where the prison wardens decide everything, and they feel the same way when the convicts are kept behind bars in rows of the secured cages. The difference is that in this utopia being thought of by World Economic Forum, no crime must be committed to reap unjust rewards. You don't need to commit a crime. You can't do it. You are incapable because you have got to do everything what is dictated to you. You are a slave. And for the government's narrative, not only to survive, but to dominate all dissent, all objection, government-led platforms must tilt the scales of free speech in favor of by ridiculing, censoring, and outright criminalizing the thought and words of the opposition. So anybody who opposes you is guilty of sedition. And you purchase media to repeat your lies again and again. The free market of ideas, which was beginning of World Economic Forum, has been transformed into a controlled, safe space for the government friends. So you're a friend of the government, it's fine. And it's happening. Microsoft has already been using a British think tank, the Global Disinformation Index. What do they do? This Microsoft Global Disinformation Index secretly, quietly blacklists conservative media companies in the USA and prevents them from generating advertising revenue. So if you are conservative, you won't get the advertisements. Kicker. The US State Department has been funding this Global Disinformation Index through the taxpayer. So the US Department is already funding it, Microsoft is using it, and they are not advertising. Now, when former Google chief Eric Schmidt and other World Economic Forum elite differ from scientists involved in Manhattan Project. However, it's their seeming urgent desire to turn this awesome weapon against the Western people. Clearly, the World Economic Forum intends to usher in a utopia of AI power, artificial power, where this world economic elite, maybe I'll be one of them if I'm alive, has little use for human beings. Let's be very clear. All utopias are basically inhuman because they are always controlled by the dictators. Then they have little use for the human beings. In a very real sense, human beings become just things in this world. They can be counted, they can be shuffled, they become categorized, tagged, monitored, manipulated, and controlled, physically and mentally. They are nothing more than cogs in the grand transhumanistic technocratic machine. You become a machine, and that's exactly what, if you have read the Brave New World, you would find. Last time I talked of the Aldous Huxley's Feelies, which have been translated into that headgear. You put it on, and you can have the sensation which you are watching on the screen. It's useful for a time, absolutely. But ultimately, they are a burden to feed the house. These people, they are just in the way. So should the World Economic Forum get a centralized utopia? Should human race be reduced to the level of things? That would be a big step towards its eventual disposal. You'll become redundant. Human beings, especially those human beings who are individualistic. I remember one novel by Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged, if you remember that. And we are in for the same thing. Again, as I said, I'm not against the technological progress. I'm all for it, and I applaud it. But when technology is used by scheming people to enslave human beings, reduce them to the level of things, dehumanizes them, then this is something which is not acceptable. It is for you to choose utopia or dystopia. Both are bad. Both are horrible to even contemplate. What we need is this world where each human being is a delicate flower, has to bloom. His identity or her entity and individuality has to be deemed sacred. And if it's not, I pity the land, the country, the world, where human beings are just countable things and not living, pulsating beings. But I foresee the future and shudder at it. The whole world, the whole universe, at the dictates of some scheming few. Unfortunate, unimaginable, horrible. Thank you.